Okay, so in front of you, you see a cathedral. What you are doing is writing 2 to 3 sentences in each of the types of writing that we have been studying. The first one is descriptive narrative, the second is expository, and the third is persuasive.
The objective of the unit is for students to be able to analyze and explain author style. They're going to do that through close reading and annotating and digging into the text to explain Macaulay's unique writing style, which is a blend of 2 different styles of writing.
Windows.
First, we really talked about what is style, and I wanted the kids to be able to relate it to themselves. We talked about what is somebody's style, what does it say about them, and then the kids did a project on their own style. The 3 ways that I had them focus on with the warm-up were expository, narrative descriptive, and persuasive. After that, we shared out that focusing on style.
Who would like to share their expository piece? Know why?
About 350 years ago, the cathedral was built because the plague was gone and everything was well and healthy.
Yeah, so where would I put that sentence? In what type of book would that go?
Like in the cathedral book or like a textbook?
A textbook, right. Expository writing is giving us information on something. River.
Gothic villagers first used a sort of cement that could have taken over 1,000 years to settle, but they later used just pressure to hold the stone together.
They're going to have to explain through analysis or the close reading process what unique elements is he bringing into his writing style.
Okay, good job on the warm-up. Why did we do this warm-up? I wanted you to be thinking about the style of writing and how styles change when you're writing for different audiences. Now, we discussed after lesson 4 that we thought Macaulay's style of writing was what? Aiden?
Expository.
Expository. And what we first read was giving us information about the cathedral.
We thought it was expository when we first read. We think this book is expository, but we need to keep thinking beyond that. So then they did a close reading of pages 7 to 17 of the text, and they did it in partner read.
In the following weeks, William planned and sketched and eventually settled on his final design. The final designs were drawn on 2 separate sheets of plastic. Whenever I read aloud, I just like doing it because it helps, like, speaking in front of other people. It also helps with just fluency, and it just helps a lot more than it does reading in your head. Because sometimes in your head you might skip over a word or something while reading out loud. If you can hear yourself make a mistake, so then you go back and fix it.
Close reading is really 3 steps. It's reading on the lines, between the lines, and then taking what you see between the lines, all your evidence, and coming to a conclusion beyond the lines. The first reading usually is just we're reading for comprehension. What's going on? Who's in it? Where and when does it take place? And what are the most important things that are occurring?
A workshop was built for the stone cutters along with the forge. What's a forge? Like a type of tool?
Probably.
Okay. Where the blacksmith could make new tools to replace the old ones as they were wore out. How would they make their tools? Like a rope and like...
Probably like stone, like they could sharpen them with stones.
The final designs were drawn on 2 sheets of plaster. How about why were they made on plaster?
And then they went back and annotated for a particular question. So you have a specific context-related question, and you are going to go in and you are going to not just answer the question, but make sure you have the evidence that is going to back up that answer.
Yeah, the laborers helped the stone cutters lift the large pieces of stone, and then the stone cutters did the rest of their work with the stone.
The wall elevation has to match the floor plan, so it doesn't interfere with anything else.
Because it says, although the people in the cathedral are imaginary.
And then taking those annotations, what did I highlight, what did I note, and drawing a conclusion from it. That's beyond the lines.
You can like say that if the apprentice dies, then it can take the place.
If something happens to one laborer, they can just fill another with like...
Okay, checking in. Is 2 more minutes enough?
We have our answer, we have our evidence.
Okay, so we're going to come back as a whole class. We are going to move on to our step 1 of the close read process, which is to read on the lines. Kyle, can you please read your summary out loud? And everyone should be listening actively and adding anything they think he missed, please.
In pages 7 to 17, the planning and gathering for the cathedral is just getting underway. They are clearing the forest and gathering the stones they need to cut.
Yeah, so it's really the pre-planning process that we're focusing on. Anything else that you think is worthy of mention in a summary, Chelsea?
In pages 7 through 17, we learned that we learned the tools and people that were needed to accomplish William of Plan's design of the.
Okay, I like how you mentioned William of Plans because he was the architect and he was worthy of being mentioned, so we might want to mention him in our summary.
As a closure, I tried to redirect them to style. I specifically left the last question as the architect question and his name.
How can we tell by the architect's name that this is an imaginary cathedral being built? To build a cathedral, you need a set of plans, and the architect's name is William Plans, so it's sort of like a pun.
Play on words or a pun.
He's not a real person, so they can then start thinking about, okay, this is expository, but here's a made-up character, so now what is it?
So, we come to find out that the people of Choutreux are actually imaginary. This was expository writing, right? Because we were getting facts about a town that wanted to build a cathedral and the reasons they wanted to build it. But when you come across the William of Plans pun and the play on words, we know that this is an imaginary character. What type of genre would we call this?
Realistic fiction, because it's like about a cathedral, but the people and the setting were fake.
So, I want you to write on your sheet, what are we noticing about Macaulay's style? Is it expository? Is it narrative?
The kids are really engaged, they love it. It's a nice melding of historical information with ELA concepts. It's different. I would highly recommend it.
You guys did excellent. Thank you so much. Good thinking today.